Every night, you close your eyes. You surrender to darkness. You lose consciousness for hours, completely vulnerable, completely unaware. You do this every single day of your life, and you never question it. But what if you never had to sleep again? What if your body simply didn't need it? You'd have 8 extra hours every day. You'd double your waking life. You could read every book, learn every skill, visit every place. But the real answer is far stranger than you think. For most people, sleep is a nuisance, an interruption, a daily pause button on the movie of life. You fight it. You stay up late scrolling. You wake up groggy. You promise yourself you'll go to bed earlier tomorrow. But what if that promise didn't matter? What if sleep was optional? You'd be the most productive person alive. But would you still be human? Your ancestors slept. Not because they wanted to, but because they had to. Sleep is not a modern invention. It is older than you are, older than your species, older than mammals even. Sleep exists in insects, in fish, in reptiles, in birds. It is one of the most ancient biological functions on Earth, and it has survived billions of years of evolution. Why? Because it is not optional. It is essential. Your brain cannot run indefinitely. Dr. Matthew Walker, a sleep scientist at UC Berkeley, calls sleep the Swiss Army knife of health. It cleans your brain. It consolidates memories. It clears toxic proteins. It resets your emotions. It repairs your body. One night of missed sleep and your immune system drops by 70%. Your reaction time slows. Your judgment falters. You become irritable. You become irrational. You become a different person, and you think you're fine. That's the cruel joke. Sleep deprivation makes you unable to assess your own sleep deprivation. But imagine for a moment that you were immune to all of that. Imagine you could stay awake forever with no consequences, no brain fog, no health decline, no irritability, just endless, uninterrupted consciousness. What would you do with the time? You could work 2 jobs. You could start a side business. You could finally finish that novel. You could travel the world in half the time. You could do everything you've ever wanted to do. And you could do it all without ever needing to rest. History is filled with people who wished for exactly that. Thomas Edison called sleep a criminal waste of time. He slept only 3 or 4 hours a night. He believed that sleep was a bad habit, a weakness. He wanted to invent a world where people could work longer and achieve more. Margaret Thatcher famously slept only 4 hours a night. She said, "Sleep is for wimps." Winston Churchill slept 4 hours and then napped. Napoleon slept 4 hours. These were people who believed they were above sleep. They believed that sleep was for the weak, but they were wrong. Edison's inventions were fueled by stimulants. He was chronically exhausted. His judgment was often impaired. His greatest mistakes happened when he was tired. Thatcher's decision-making suffered. Churchill's moods were volatile. They were not superhuman. They were simply people who refused to accept their limitations. And they paid for it. Not immediately, but eventually. Sleep debt is not a credit card. You cannot pay it back. It's simply accrues interest. And the interest is your health. Dr. Alan Rechtschaffen, a pioneer in sleep research, once said, "If sleep does not serve an absolutely vital function, then it is the biggest mistake the evolutionary process has ever made." And evolution does not make mistakes that survive for billions of years. Sleep is not a bug. It is a feature. It is a fundamental part of what it means to be alive. So if you never had to sleep, you would not be superhuman. You would be something else entirely, something not quite human. Because sleep is not just about rest. It is about dreaming. And dreaming is not random noise. It is a necessary process. It is the brain's way of processing the day, of making sense of emotions, of creating meaning, of predicting the future. Without dreams, you would be stuck in the present. You would not learn from the past. You would not imagine the future. You would be a machine, a very efficient machine, but a machine nonetheless. And here is the counterintuitive truth. If you never had to sleep, you would not be more productive. You would be less creative. You would not be more energetic. You would be less resilient. You would not be happier. You would be less human, because sleep is the one thing that levels the playing field. Rich or poor, king or peasant, powerful or powerless, everyone sleeps. Everyone dreams. Everyone is equally vulnerable in the dark. Sleep is the great equalizer, and without it, you would lose your humility. You would lose your empathy. You would lose your capacity to connect. Consider the people who can function on very little sleep. They exist. They are called short sleepers. They are a tiny fraction of the population. They have a genetic mutation that allows them to thrive on 4 or 5 hours. They are energetic, they are optimistic, they are often successful, but they are also lonely. They are awake when everyone else is asleep. They are disconnected from the rhythm of the world. They are outliers, and they are not necessarily happier. They are just different. So if you never had to sleep, you would be different too. You would be disconnected. You would miss the quiet moments, the stillness, the conversations that happen when the world slows down. You would miss the dreams, the strange, beautiful, terrifying, nonsensical dreams that make no sense but somehow make you human. You would miss the morning light, the first cup of coffee, the sense of renewal, the fresh start. You would be perpetually awake, perpetually alert, perpetually aware, and perpetually tired of it all. Because the truth is this: sleep is not a waste of time. It is the most productive thing you do. It is the time when your brain processes everything you learned. It is the time when your body repairs itself. It is the time when your mind heals. Without sleep, you would not be more productive. You would be less. You would be a machine running on empty, a car with no oil, a phone with no battery. You would crash. And you would crash hard. So tonight, when you lie down and close your eyes, don't see it as giving up. See it as investing. See it as the most important habit you have. The habit that keeps you sane, that keeps you human, that keeps you alive. Because sleep is not optional. It never was, and it never will be. And that is a gift, not a curse, a daily reminder that you are not a machine, you are alive.